Hey there everyone, it's me, Francie Joe. Just kidding, it's me, Janine. Welcome in. I'm where the wild things are. So stick with me through the end to see what I saw on the commute home. We're talking all things art as life, the studio, and all the places that are the studio. Good morning. It's an amazing spring morning. I don't know what's up with this filter or whatever. I wanted to do another walkabout and talk about. And actually I wanted to I have started my 23-mile bike commutes to my studio, but I started 2 weeks ago when there were a couple of nice days. It's an e-bike, but it's 23 miles there and back again. And I was going to do that today. It's so gloriously spring finally. And last night was absolute magic, sitting on the patio with the beautiful, perfect air and sun setting in the golden hour, the whiskey hour. But please excuse my sniffles. I always get them when I'm on here. So that was my plan. And then last night, our neighbor called from down there after dark, and she said she was pulling into her driveway across from ours, and she saw 3 big mountain lions head up our driveway. And then she told me that on a trail on their land over there, which my dad actually built over there, the trail years ago, that on a hike they found a dead deer that had been basically freshly gutted by mountain lions. And so the proper authorities came and removed that and took it away. And they put up a camera first, and they kind of ID'd the 3 mountain lions. They think it's a mama and 2 kiddos, but they're grown. And that was their cache. And it's gone, so they're looking for food. And we've seen a lot of them walk right across our driveway in broad daylight. One time, several years ago, in broad daylight, in town, one of them actually was right at both of our sons, twins, neighbors, front doors, and into our son's garage. They were getting ready to go for a dirt bike ride and loading everything up, and my son Tom actually had his GoPro on, his helmet at the time, getting ready, and caught it all. And this mountain lion went into our other son's garage and got on top of his vehicle and thankfully ran off. And he put it on YouTube and it went viral, but a lot of people got really, really angry that they were in the mountain lion's territory. I mean, we know where we live. They live in town. This was on the highway in town. Behind them is open space, like out their back doors. But anyway, yeah, we've had a lot of experience with mountain lions. So I'm not gonna do my bike commute today. I'm not gonna even do a walkabout, except for right on our deck here and in front, because what I'm really here for is to show you the garden right now, because I love to share that. We have such a short growing season. I love gardening. I've gardened here for about 25 or more years. High country, short season, totally doable, super fast. It comes and goes, and we have to savor every precious moment. So we're getting ready for that. These are my back deck pots that I can't wait to replant. I just left them. Last year I left everything because I read that you should wait to clean out your gardens and things until spring and the temperatures are mid-50s, because a lot of things live in the dead stuff. And besides, it's beautiful in snow. I love the garden, even though it's all dried out and scrappy. When it's covered in snow, it's so beautiful. So with the help of my son. We raked up all the piles. We cleaned a lot out the other week, ready to see what comes up. There are a lot of perennials, and I'm not going to plant a lot. I always overdo that. I'm going to see what volunteers first. So, but right now, as in the seasons of life, things are dry and ugly and barren, and a lot of the things that are coming up are growing where they're not supposed to. This is such a weird filter. I didn't put a filter on. Anyway, here's our back. And I can't wait to replant all the pots all the way along the deck. My dear hubby put water to each of them last spring, or they would have never made it, but they were huge and crazy, beautiful. Every other archway had a beautiful pot growing, so I'm anxious to replant those. And isn't it beautiful? But I don't see any lions. Do you? Hopefully they're sleeping somewhere. This is our flat roof up there. And a lot of times in the night, we'll hear loping across our roof because they can jump up there. Things can jump up there. I don't see anything up there right now. So we're going to the front, to the garden. I got a gimbal, a cheap little gimbal. It's really fun, and it's fun to say gimbal. Gimbal. Heading through the house to the front. We just got back from glamping. I'm allergic to animals, so I got a little travel companion. Haven't named her yet. I'm putting ideas out into the interwebs for votes. I'll meet you in the front. So on the way to the garden, I was thinking how all of life is art. All of life is an art studio, inside, outside. And here I am in my very, very, very messy home studio. Needs some attention, but it's wonderful. This room has been many things, but now it's this right now. Collections and things like that. So on my way out to the garden, which is also extended studio and home and decorating. It's all about color. Mine is messy. Pictures are crooked, shabby. I love old silver. Everything has been this way for a couple years and I can't bring myself to change it. So we're heading out. I have garden stuff ready. I wanted to show you really quick. This is a friend of mine came to a creative day at my studio and she brought these limes. Limes. I can't remember what they're called. The flesh is orange and they're delicious. And so I kept the seeds because she said she got hers as seeds and she grows hers in her greenhouse. And I let them dry out. Actually, I let the limes get really old and kind of gross. And then I got the seeds out and I let them completely dry out. And then I soaked them. And then I put them in this pot and created this little greenhouse. And nothing happened for months and months and months. And I almost dumped it. But then all of a sudden there were little sprouts. And I think I might have about 6 little of these lime trees. I was even watching a Thai chef the other day using julienne lime leaves in a recipe. So I'm excited if these things grow. And over here, my impatiens got a haircut. And then taking food out to my worms. That's what I have for pets. I have worms, red worms in my compost. And then this is double apple blossom geranium that I have kept every year. I bring starts in and keep it going, and I think it's been for like 15 years that I've kept starts going. The blooms are my favorite ever. They're so beautiful. So come on out and I'll show you. And I am sticking close to the house. I already explained before why I'm a chicken, but this is our garden beds that are dirty, dead, messy, but some things are starting. That rose kept green stems all winter and is growing clear up into that thing, and I'm gonna weave it through so it will fall through. And this is a antique heirloom rose that a friend of mine who had to move away asked me to try to start. It stayed green stems all winter too. It's the most fragrant, beautiful, once blooming pink heirloom rose that she said her maybe greater grandma grew at the door of the homestead here in this valley. So I was able to save that, and it's really happy and growing there. And then here in these pots, that doesn't look like much, but it's this beautiful, beautiful, really unusual columbine. And there's one here too in this bed. So those are coming up. Our lower greenhouse collapsed in the winter under that first heavy snow. So we just, my son did it for me. Took the top off. The beds are still there. I asked him to leave the sides so things can grow a bit. My daughter gave me her straw bales that she had out in front of her adorable shop as big, huge Christmas gifts for her Christmas boutique. If you think that you can't garden where you are, I've done this before, and you can garden in just straw bales. You can get them at a feed store or from a farmer or rancher. So I'm going to move those into some little flat formation. You saturate them for about a week or two with water, and then you add organic fertilizer and water that in, and they're instant garden beds. I've done it before and they grow like crazy. There's our clean out, but that tiny little berm right there, that used to be straw bales. So it completely decomposes into amazing garden soil. There's the neighbor's hill over there where they found the dead deer. And then here's our gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous valley. So a lot of things coming up. These are really funny. These are earth boxes that I had in the greenhouse last year, and through the winter, all of that kale I planted years ago, and it just keeps growing. And I keep pruning it down, giving it haircuts. And then inside the greenhouse in those beds, look at that. That's kale and chard and things like that from years past. It just keeps growing. I also planted a whole lot of the winter garlic in those beds, and that's all coming up. It was kind of an experiment, but have you ever had garlic scape pesto? So you make it from the tops. Tell me if you see any mountain lions behind me, please. Here's all of the dead beds. That's a Honeycrisp tree in the middle that's doing really well. It was $15 and it's really doing well. It's thriving. And then two really deep dark purple roses that one a friend gave us in memory of our son, and I bought the other one because I wanted it to be kind of two kinds of deep dark purple roses. So going into the greenhouse. It was a mess and I got it all cleaned out and I'm so excited. It's all ready. Ooh, I smell garlic. It smells really good. Oh, wow. So my friend with the heirloom rose, I was able to take some stems last fall and they're green and they're getting buds, and she's going to take her own starts of her great grandmother's heirloom rose that grew at the door of their homestead. So here's the compost. This is where my wormies live. Oh my word. Crawling. So the roly-polies like it too. Here's some food. Sorry, I don't know if I'm showing you well enough, but I want to show you the soil. It's making all of this glorious garden compost. There they are. And all of those red worms are my pets, and they're working away. Can you see it? Yeah. So none of our produce waste goes to waste. I feed my pets, my little red worms. So there are the beds in here that have garlic all over. I have a strawberry, some plants started there, some plants started there, some strawberries. Anyway, and then all of this ready to plant whatever I would like. This has a whole sprinkler system, but this year I'm going to run those kind of hoses that have holes through the beds, because so much of it gets wasted and just goes on the floor. And so I'm rethinking the greenhouse watering system and saving water. But last year this whole thing was full of pots and all kinds of things. I love having it clean out and a fresh start. I'll wash the windows, and then I have to make a whole new curtain system, because we had our first one and for years it was fine, and then it just becomes brittle in the sun. It's so hot here on the south side. And then I got a new set, and instantly it just started. It's almost like paper. It just rips. And I had to start pinning things together and tying things together, even the straps that are supposed to be able to move them. Most of them just disintegrated like powder. So I have a ton of huge yardages of muslin, and that's what I'm going to use, because once upon a time, and I'm going to do a story about this, when our daughter got married and had this beautiful outdoor glorious wedding, and we got to have the reception in this big barn. We literally draped it with muslin. It was so beautiful, and I'm going to share that process sometime. So there's one of the beds, and a lot of the garlic is coming up. It's going to be time to make garlic scape pesto and stuff like that. I have big garlic chives just growing in the dirt here. And here's more of the beds and pots ready. And this is our grape. I talk about it a lot, but I got, about 25 years ago, I bought a $5 runt at Walmart. And this is not a place to grow grapes, but I felt sorry for it, like a little orphan puppy or kitty or something. So I brought it home, and it goes crazy here in our south-facing courtyard. And kind of now it's like a little old man. It's so old, but we put up some wire mesh, and it climbs up to the top of the roof, and then over and through that beautiful, those little, I have to think what those roof things are called. I know it, but I love things weaving through, like this Virginia creeper over here. And there are some honeysuckles. So anyway, right now it's really dead and ugly, and it doesn't look like much. And it's like life and seasons. The water even froze in here in the night in the bird bath. And so it looks awful for a really long time. And then all of a sudden it's going to burst into life, and we'll have it for, I guess, 3 months, which is wonderful. And then it'll all be gone again in a flash, in one freeze. So that's life, right? So home and garden as studio, as extensions of art studios, and the ugly parts and a lot of death, and then the hope and promise of spring and the glorious summer and the beautiful fall. And I just wanted to share that. So I see a little mouse running back and forth. I don't know if you can hear it. We have chipmunks and mice and squirrels and mountain lions and stuff like that. Lynx, bobcats, bunnies. Hey, that makes me realize I haven't seen our resident bunny for a while. I suppose it became lunch or dinner. So over on my faith vlog, Inklings Femina, very soon, I've been thinking a lot, learning and growing, processing life, grief, as usual, the continuous cruelty that we've been experiencing. And I'm going to be talking a lot about betrayal and being thrown under the bus by family and friends and even longtime business friends. Because the cruelty and horribleness just continues. But we'll keep learning and growing from it. See any mountain lions? Well, that's my walkabout this morning. Home and garden as extensions of art and studios. So thanks for joining, and I will see you on the flip side. Okay, not commuting on my bike. I'm going to just drive my commute, and on my way to my other studio where I go every day that I possibly can for as long as I can and learn and grow, taking courses and practicing and making art and making free tutorials on YouTube. So always full of ideas, all kinds of things in the works to share. And so when I get there, I'll share that with you. But decided not to drive this glorious commute on this spring morning and get to the studio and show and tell a little bit. A lot has changed, a lot is going on, and I will share that. See you there. So hey there, same morning, no bike commute, just drive to the in-town studio, which is a precious property we're saving for later so I get to use it. And so just an update, lots of changes, taking a lot of courses, retaking some courses, because the last couple of years have been super hard to focus or figure anything out. So I'm here in my happy place. I have a lot of happy places. Home, garden, home studio, this studio. For now, this used to be my vintage and antiques shop, and this upstairs part was the art loft, and it still is, but I used to have really fun classes up here. And people would say, I can't paint, and I would say, you'll leave with the painting, and they did. So anyway, this is where I am just continuing to learn and grow. I say that I'm putting myself through art school, and I am, and I'm choosing my own sources, the best of the best online. So I'm getting all organized so that I know where stuff is when I want to use it, and I'm ready for a lot. This is my current inspiration board, and I'm going to redo it soon, trying to put a focus on it. My current inspiration board of everything I love and that inspires me. Getting ready to change it. A lot of paperwork, journals, idea books, things that I've been keeping notes on, planning for business, or I don't even know what is coming along, but I'm going to find out. So it still looks like a mess, but I am really organized. And it's getting better and better, and I'm cleaning out one of the classes on one of the courses that I'm retaking. It talks all about cleaning out and getting rid of and really just getting organized and ready. I have a ton of really fun frames, mostly old, and a bunch more downstairs that are huge and amazing that I have plans for. And this is my room with all of my organized textiles and collections of antique and vintage things, linens, laces. My button collection is still at home in that studio, which I need to sell, my button collection. But I am getting so organized. All of this wonderful goodness, old lace, old linens, crocheted, embroidered, lots of handwork is all organized. Old quilts, don't get dizzy. I'll try to go slow. These amazing old quilts, all kinds of yummy goodness. So I have some really fun plans for a lot of textile things in a series that I have coming up that I have named Our Living Tapestries, because I think life is art and life is a tapestry, and I love the saying, hands to work and hearts to God. So this is all what I've been getting sorted out. What's what, who's who, what to do. And I have cleaned out a lot. I had this vintage and antique store in this space downstairs, but for a couple of really horrible reasons, I had to close it. But it's going to work out, and even though things are going to be very different, it's going to be okay. One was that our county here, nearly quadrupled our real estate taxes. And there was no way I could let that be something that was just because I wanted to have an antiques and vintage shop in this county. And the other thing that was really awful, that was a reason that I closed the doors, was because of our son's horrific accident and all that entailed. and that it's a small town where we grew up and he grew up, and thousands of people knew and loved him. Since I had an open door as a shop, a lot of people would come in, well-meaning people for the most part. Well-meaning people would want to just walk in the door and say, what is going on? How is he? What's the status? And that was really hard for the 18 months that he survived that. And then after he was gone, people didn't even know it, because there was only a little, kind of like an ad taken out in a different part of the paper than where people usually find out about that. And so even at 2 years, still right now, a lot of people don't even know that he's gone, because that's all there was. And so people were coming in, and we still run into people around town who say, how is your son doing? And so every time that happened in my shop and around town still, we had to and we have to tell the whole story, the whole truth. And they're devastated and we're devastated again. And it's just horrible how it all went down and was handled. But that is why my antiques and vintage shop is closed. And for a long time, I just kind of sat here stunned for months and months and months, and I didn't know what to do, except for that one day when I finally was telling my husband again about the people that had come in that day. I'm just giving you my studio tour because it's fun and I love it and I love to share it. Finally, one evening, my husband said, lock the doors. And it hadn't even occurred to me that I could, that I didn't just have to be available. Because that day, it was not well-meaning people or friends. I locked the door and I kept being creative. I kept taking courses and classes online, and I kept creating and making and doing and learning and growing, and it really saved me. And kept me busy. And then gradually lately, the darkness has started to clear, and I'm retaking a course that during that horrible time talked about cleaning out, making room, starting fresh. And so I was finally ready, and I have taken truckloads away. I had the most amazing, adorable, fun antique and vintage shop. Plus the art loft where I taught classes and we had a ball. That all ended, and I have finally cleared out, cleaned out, sorted out, decided what stays, what goes, what I'm going to use, what I still have plans for, because I love repurposing, recycling, upcycling, reimagining old beautiful things that have history and story into new beautiful things. So what I have left right now is all that I have plans for. I know I'll never get to it all, but I've got a lot of art made. So I have all kinds of fun plans for all of these things, and I'm super excited. So that's my update, how to carry on through really, really difficult times. Keep going, keep making, keep creating, keep learning, even if it's really, really hard and it's full of grief, to let a lot of things go so that new things can come in. So life as art, and all of life as a studio. The actual studios, the garden, the home, the kitchen, the relationships, and especially the non-negotiable for me is faith, my faith. So, onward to the fog, and take the hands of beautiful, wonderful, creative makers, especially that are offering amazing courses online, and keep moving and keep growing and keep learning and reinventing and reimagining. A lot of my paintings in these bins and boxes, I'm going to reimagine, and I'm excited about it. So all of life is art, and all of it is a studio, extended studios. So thank you for joining. That's my update for now. I will be sharing as things become ready for the things that are coming next. So keep the faith, keep creating, keep making, keep going. I will be back next time.
I'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, comment, and share. So on my way home, I got to see all of these. It's the closest I've ever been to them. They didn't seem to mind me at all. The grass is so green, they're just so happy. There were several bulls, but they're gone, and we think they've been poached. They're so healthy and happy and beautiful, and soon there will be a bunch of new babies, hopefully. We used to never see them, but now we see them more and more in our valley, and now they also let us see their babies. So it's pretty special. And they seem to know the safe place, the safe land to hang out on. They're pretty smart. Aren't they just amazing? So stay subscribed, like, share, comment, and I will continue to share all of the truth and beauty and goodness that I can possibly find. Don't forget to stay tuned for what the beautiful garden will become.